Johannesburg emergency officials have put backup measures in place to tackle water cuts. Parts of Gauteng have battled dry taps, at times for weeks on end due to crumbling infrastructure. Johannesburg has suffered a number of disasters in recent months, some of which have been deadly. An explosion and a number of fires have ripped through buildings in the city centre. While emergency services say this has made their jobs even more difficult, Ziniko Mhlaba joins us live with more on this story. Firstly, Ziniko, let's begin just with the capacity that emergency services is sitting with currently.
So you remember, as you said, Kathy, in your intro, that in recent months we've seen a lot of disasters taking place in the city of Johannesburg, especially in informal settlements and the city centre itself. So we spoke to the EMS today as we were covering the water shortages and just trying to gauge how geared up are they and what will they do in case of emergency while the water is out in some areas. So what they told us is that they have not been given extra resources in terms of capacitating them better. So they now, if in days such as this one, where we'll be without water for over 11 hours in some areas in the city centre, they'll have to make do with what is available to them. So in terms of capacity, nothing has been done to capacitate them to ensure that in case the building burns in Johannesburg, but there's no water in Randburg, they won't be able to attend to those scenarios, to those disasters at the same time. So we have a water shortage, got a disaster on the other side, so they'll have to use whatever's available to them already.
What are they saying they have actually done about this problem? Because ultimately, emergencies aren't always things that can be prevented.
Yeah.
And there is an expectation from residents that when they call out to these responders, they will receive the appropriate response.
So we posed that question to them, actually. So what they have done now is look at the high-risk areas. So if you're living in the city centre or you're living in Alexander, so those two areas are areas of concern. So it is very likely that those areas might have some form of disaster. So what they've done, they've mobilized, they've looked at their fleet, they've looked at their resources, and they've now stationed and moved resources around. So if you're staying in Soweto Vilakazi Street, chances of that place catching fire are very limited or very low compared to someone who's staying in Alexander. So they'll move vehicles from an area like Soweto and move it to a fire station near the city centre or near Alexander. So that's what they've done, basically, just to realign resources, move resources around. So should anything happen in Soweto, they'll need to move the same resources which they've moved from Soweto and from Alexander back to Soweto. So it's just a movement and adjusting resources which they already have. But in terms of introducing more fleet, more resources, nothing has been done in that regard.